Welcome to this short video from the Speech Pathology Service. At Gbung Special School, we believe that all behaviour is communication and every student deserves a voice. The Speech Pathology Service supports staff to integrate this perspective into everything they do to support students at the school. In today's session, we'll look at the functions of communication, why and how we communicate with each other, what is autonomous communication, and the challenge and aims when using AAC. We communicate for many different purposes. When we communicate with each other, we use a range of different functions. These aren't always verbal. We may use our body language to communicate yes by nodding our head in answer to a question. We may roll our eyes to protest or express an opinion about something. Have a look at the range of communication functions on this slide, collated by Australian speech pathologist Gail Porter, who created the pod books now used throughout the world and here at Gbung Special School. Think about how many of these functions of communication you have used already today. Think about how many of these functions your child used today. Remember that body language and facial expression, gesture, and of course AAC such as keyword sign, Auslan, and AAC systems are included in your count. Now think about this scenario and the many different communication functions you may use within it. Imagine it's your first day in a new job. You have just walked into the main office and you spot someone behind the front desk. Think about what functions of communication you might use in those first couple of minutes of entering your new workplace. Circled here are just some of the functions you might use. Making social contact and greeting would be two of the first functions you would use. When we talk about making social contact, we mean making eye contact, facing our body towards the person we're about to speak to, using facial expressions and body language, such as a smile and a nod, to show the person we're about to talk to them. We may then relate information about who we are and what our role is, so the person behind the desk can notify your manager that you've arrived. We may answer questions and express feelings such as excitement. We might even make a joke or comment on something such as the parking. We do all of this without giving it much thought at all. We also know what not to say in this situation. For example, we're not likely to start disagreeing, manipulating, bargaining, or complaining on our first day of a new job. Hopefully that wouldn't be warranted. Though these skills are certainly important and necessary in the right circumstances. This is due to our understanding of social norms. We certainly do a lot more than just requesting, and in fact, we might not request at all in this situation. So here's our challenge, summarised by Porter and Kirkland when they state, a child who uses speech will independently select the words she wishes to use from the vast array of words she hears and sees used every day. A child who uses AAC will independently select the words she wishes to use from the vocabulary other people have chosen to model and, for aided symbols, made available for her to use. You may be very aware of this challenge already. You may be wondering how we provide enough language to our students with complex communication needs, which vocabulary do we start with, and how do we prioritise that vocabulary? RobustAAC Systems, including pod books, have evolved from this challenge. When we talk about robust AAC systems, we mean systems that have enough language and an ability to use a range of functions of communication to allow for meaningful and fulfilling conversations. There are a number of robust AAC systems used at Gbung Special School. The pod book is one example of a robust AAC system. The first day of work scenario demonstrates our spontaneous functional communication we use day in and day out. Gail Porter summarises autonomous communication very succinctly. That is, being able to say what I want to say, to whoever I want to say it to, whenever I want to say it, wherever I want to say it, however I want to say it. This is what guides us when we want to complain to our boss and use strong words, but instead we say, yes, no problem, I'll have that done straight away. We use the vocab we have available as well as our understanding of social norms to carefully select what we say and how we say it. Remember, adding that I roll can really change the message you're sending. So we want to make enough language available to our students with complex communication needs so they can achieve spontaneous, autonomous communication. We want to make sure we consider their access to an AAC system so that they can use the language provided to them. We want to teach them a range of communication functions so that they can protest, share information, comment, ask a question, rather than only request. We can acknowledge the non-verbal communication our students use to communicate as a valid communication function. We can also teach and encourage body language, gesture, and facial expression in our students so that, just like us, they can have a choice for how they communicate a message. We acknowledge that autonomous communication does not have to be sophisticated or complex language. We would rather a student could point to stop, rather than expect them to communicate, I don't want to do this activity anymore. We can carefully select the words we choose to prioritise while considering the functions of communication and the challenge discussed earlier. With all this in mind, our aim when using AAC for students with complex communication needs is for that person to meet his or her requirements as intelligibly, specifically, efficiently, independently, and in as socially valued manner as possible. In other words, we want our students to understand others and to be understood. That brings us to the end of today's session. What we've learned today about considering the language in our students' AAC systems so they can become autonomous communicators will be helpful information going into our next video. We hope you can join us next time when we'll talk about how to model language using AAC systems such as those pictured on this slide to enhance your communication with your child. The speech pathology service at Gebung Special School is an important part of the support structure for you and your family. You can reach out to us through your class teacher or the administration team. We look forward to seeing you again soon.